All right, y'all. It's Chicken Little back again to tell you that the sky is falling. So, first of all, I just want to apologize. I realize that the last couple of videos that I've shot have all been about kind of like weird things that Google is doing, but I have no choice. I have no choice. Because if they're going to issue all these really weird dictates and add these strange features and take control away from us, like, we have to at least complain about it, but hopefully maybe even say something and, potentially influence change. It's absolute insanity. It's like the emperor has no clothes, except even worse. The emperor has a stick and is running around beating us with it, and everybody's not doing anything. We're just all like, oh, okay, I guess this is it. Now we get beat by the emperor. So, this next one is nuts. The last video I shot was on the true impact of the loss of search terms, to the tune of about 25% of the available data. Absolute, complete, and total insanity. Like true loss of control in campaigns. But manageable. This new thing, man. Now, we knew this was coming, but the degree to which it has impacted everybody, and then I'm going to show you the flexibility that Google has allowed themselves is, it's so bold, to say the least. So, first of all, an article, Yale Consulting, well done. I'll link to this inside the description of the video, but this person is going through a client campaign of theirs and found that there was a mysterious keyword overspending. So they found keywords that they'd never seen before, that they didn't add, that there was no record of. So there's no record in change history of these key phrases being added, and they're overspending by 50%. And then dives into Google support and finds the auto-applied recommendations control center, which is the thing that I'm freaking out about right now. And within the Auto Recommendations Control Center, they found that their client had been set to maximize impact, meaning they were automatically opted in to all of the auto change options. So here's where we are now. Google is making changes on our behalf, not small changes. They're making changes on our behalf. They're not telling us that those changes have been made. They're not requesting permission to make those changes. They're not logging those changes in change history. And they're automatically opting everybody into it. By default. It's y'all, come on now. I can't be the only one that's just freaking out about this. So, now, they don't make this readily apparent, but you can go track down the URL for your auto-applied recommendations control center. And that's got, what a funny name for this. You mean lack of control center. So when you log in, here's the home screen. This is what you're going to see. Your accounts will be listed on the left-hand side. We have, white label partners in various relationships, which is why we have multiple MCC accounts. But what you can see, and I'm going to make sure all this is blurred out so you can't actually see my clients' account numbers, but what you can see is we have deactivated most of our clients. Now, clients that for whatever reason are still my MCC, but we're no longer managing, you'll notice they're activated because I didn't want to touch those. And you can see when I check the recommendations that we've got, this one has been customized, and these are all of the things that Google has chosen to allow themselves to change. And note just how expansive this is. So here's Google inside of the FAQs. They talk about applied recommendations can add to the following. And I've highlighted some of the ones that'll just make my head explode. Add descriptions to your site links. They're going to proactively take descriptions, write content on your behalf. Add headlines and descriptions. Create new versions of your ads. Are you kidding me? Test new ad text for repeatedly used phrases. So Google's going to find the phrases that they think are the most viable and test those on your behalf automatically without telling you or logging it inside to change history. It gets worse. Adjust your CPA targets. Are you joking right now? Why am I here? Why are we doing what we're doing, Google? Why do we even manage our account if you're going to just run around willy-nilly? And that begs the question. Why wouldn't they? Because they have their recommended tab, right? We all know, and I make big jokes about it, because there's the Google recommended tab, and it's always just like the stupid stuff that Google wants you to do that's going to destroy your campaign. Why not just push this more aggressively inside of the recommended tab? Okay? And then if they wanted to take that a step further and they wanted to auto-enable, like that infuriates me. But it is what it is. Let's say they're auto-enabling. Why wouldn't that at least be front-facing in the public view in the dashboard that we visit every day and logged by change history? Why are they making changes, not telling us about them, and then not logging them? Why? What excuse could there possibly be other than trying to force the reliance on automation? They don't want you to know what they're doing. They don't want you to know why they're doing it. And that disassociation, that separation is going to be a catastrophic error for you in the future, even if the changes are positive. Think about this. Even if the thing that they do, even if the changes that they make are helpful to your campaign, there's only so many layers of disassociation you can allow before you don't have the ability to go in there and manually optimize at all, because you don't know what's happened. You don't know what's happened, so you don't know what to do next, and that's what they're counting on. They'll change your CPA targets. Yo, that's crazy. Bid more efficiently with enhanced CPC, maximize clicks. So the entire bid strategy is basically all entirely in Google's hands. Upgrade your conversion tracking with data-driven attribution. This one's actually really cool. So they're going to change your attribution model. I have to imagine that the same prerequisites apply, because in order to use data-driven attribution, you have to reach a certain spend threshold. I don't remember off the top of my head. So I'm assuming that that's still clear here. But regardless, they're changing your attribution model. They're adding negative keywords. That's nuts. They're adding, not just they're adding negative keywords, but to the point that catalyzed the original article, they're adding keywords. They're adding keywords. They're adding negative keywords. Like, where did they get off? Now, I mean, if you're just talking about, mom and pop kettle who don't have the budget to hire somebody like me or to go, the time to go learn it themselves and actually proactively manage it, fine. But that's like an AdWords Express account, right? Remember back in the day, AdWords Express, yeah. That should be the value proposition of that campaign. But you can't sell me a car and then turn it into a self-driving vehicle. You can't do it. I bought the car because I wanted to drive. I bought the manual transmission because I wanted to feel like I was in control. And now all of a sudden you wake up and like Jeeves is sitting there in the driver's seat and just took my kid to school and didn't tell me that he was doing it and logged off of GPS. All control is being removed. It's unfreaking believable. Remove conflicting negative keywords. Who are you to say, Lord Google, that a negative keyword that I've proactively added is conflicting in your mind? Here's the problem with semantic architecture, is they're going to see negative keyword conflicts because that's keyword sculpting. Maybe I have a keyword that works for me proactively, but a negative keyword that is semantically equivalent or modified, let's say it's past tense and future tense, for instance. Google's now has the option of finding that conflict that I created intentionally because I'm keyword sculpting and removing that conflict. They're killing your ability to keyword sculpt. Try additional match types. Fan-freaking-tastic. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Try additional match types doesn't mean try other match types. It means try broad match. Google's not going to sit there and niche down for us. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Now, you can opt out of it. You can deactivate your campaigns from this if you want to. But it's the fact that it exists in the first place. Like, why do you know what this is like? Not to get political. This is like indefinite detention. So in the United States, we have something that was signed into law many years ago called indefinite detention, which means that the President of the United States can point somebody out and say, we are going to indefinitely detain you, and we are going to do it without a trial, without charging you. It's like totalitarian regime, just pick you up, put you in a box, close it, no trial. Which is a gross violation of personal freedoms and a slap in the face of the Constitution of the United States. And the question has to be begged, why does that even exist? Why is that a thing? There's no use case where that's excusable. This is the indefinite detention of the PPC world. Why and how is it that Google gets off making these recommendations without letting us know, without logging them, and honestly, without even making them accessible, and then auto-opting everybody into this? It's irresponsible. Like, it's so frustrating. As a Google Ads manager, and I realize that this just flies in the face of my job, but I'm responsible to clients, and here's Google automatically opting all of my clients into this thing, and then making changes that I can't even see. Like, wow. Now, to that point, you can see the applied recommendations history if you choose to seek it out. And this is going to it just frustrates me to say this. The changes they're making make sense for the most part. But if 99 out of 100 of the changes that they make sense, but then the 1 out of the 100 is, like this gal's, I think it's a gal, I'm so sorry, I actually don't know, Leor, that could be a dude, forgive me, gender neutral. This person's article mentions 50% overspending on a budget of a key phrase that they never added. So there could be a catastrophic error embedded here, and I just wouldn't know, which is nuts. It's nuts. So this is here now. This is, this is something that you have to contend with. I would strongly recommend opting out of it unless you trust Google with, all of your money implicitly. And, the thing that scares me isn't the fact that this now exists as much as the fact that they're going to force our hands in the future, and you already know that to be true. Right now this is optional. It's a beta program. They're going to see what's happening, blah, 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 blah. But we know based off of historical precedents that sooner or later this is just going to become the norm, and Google is going to auto-optimize our campaigns on our behalf. And then idiots like me are going to have to go there and figure out how to wrestle back some semblance of control. And there's only so long we're going to be able to do that. Like, man, the clock is ticking here. This is nuts. So, anyway, sorry again. This is supposed to be a happy channel. I wanted to provide value and help people, and I don't know. Maybe I'm doing that. I feel a little bit like Paul Revere, and he died in the end. By the way, that didn't go well. So let's just see what happens. That's all I got. If you want to see more of these videos, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the thumbs up if you think I deserve it. Comment if you agree, disagree. I'd love some dissent. Maybe some alternative viewpoints. Maybe you're a Googler. Maybe you're actually at Google and you know something I don't, and you're hooked up to the Kool-Aid and the motherboard, and you're part of the Borg mainframe, and you're gonna give me some information that might set my mind at ease. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. I'll see you later.